What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for clicking on the video. If you're a brand new viewer, welcome to the channel. If you're already subscribed, welcome back. I hope you're enjoying the content.
I remember my first time shooting a T-36.
In today's video, we will discuss the deck drawer system I have installed in my truck and show everyone how I have configured it to help maximize my range outings and instructions. This video is a part 2 of what to take for a successful range outing. If you haven't seen part 1, please consider watching that video first. But enough talk. Let's dive into the deck drawer system. Alright, we're going to dive into the deck system now, and we're just going to work our way from front to back. So in the very front, I have two types of screwdrivers. One of them has a precision extension. I mainly use these as a redundancy to the other range bag that I showed in the very first video. I have extra optic screwdrivers that I keep in here. I also have a 30 meter or 100 foot tape that I have paired with some marking paint. So we use these when we zero rifles. We use these for distance shooting. We also use them to make sure that we're at the appropriate distance in between targets if we're using a specific type of drill. Additionally, I have 5,000 count of the Aero T50 staples. These are 3/8 inch. Sometimes if it's super windy, I'll use a stapler instead of my clips, or I'll use a stapler and clips. It just depends on how windy it is that day. I also keep a small bag of additional ear pro. If we're shooting larger caliber rifles, or if other people are shooting, some crazy stuff, Tannerite, whatever, and it's really loud and our ears start ringing, we'll double up on ear pro. This is also nice to have as just an accessory, or again, a secondary means of ear pro, because we shoot a lot of the times in DNR or BLM land, so it's free areas for us to shoot. Not everybody brings ear pro, so I can always give people some ear pro if they need it. I have two DACA pouches. I think this is their large DACA for Magpul, and this is like their smaller medium. In here is just some markers and two staplers. Then I have my what's in rotation basically for pistol wise. So I have two of these Vertex bags. I have some pistol mags in here, and then I have another set for another pistol. And then in this first box here this is kind of like my portable armor's tool setup. So I've got some CLP in here. I've got some Loctite. I have some more markers, an X-Acto knife, and then in the bottom down here I have two different types of weapons cleaning kits, a thing of fix-it sticks, and then some rags to just clean any weapons if I need to out on the range, or any if other people bring out super dirty weapons and they're not shooting, not functioning, we'll dive in, we'll fix them up real quick, and then we'll get back to shooting. In the second box back here, I have some spray adhesive foam. I use these to attach paper targets to my cardboard targets. So this is the 3M Super 77, and then Loctite, their high performance, it's the 200 middle. So like whichever one you can find at your local store, these work great. And then I also have a sledgehammer in here as well, because 90% of my targets have stakes. So again, if it gets super windy, I'll stake them down. And then I have a whole bunch of just paper targets that I've printed off that I'll use whenever, depending on what drill I'm using. All right, so that finishes up what I have in this left drawer. I'm going to move on to the right drawer now. So in the right drawer, I have some of these small cones. I got these at the dollar store. We use these. Some of these are labeled 7 meters, 25 meters for reference points on if we're doing a specific type of drill or we're moving from one place to the next. Be like, hey, go to the cone marked 7 meters, 25 meters, so on and so forth. It just gives us a reference point to use. I also have a range book. So if I notice in my training that like I particularly did something well, I'll write it down. I also keep track of how many rounds I've shot, what drills I've shot, and then additional drills to work on or additional areas to work on. I log that in my range book. I have a packed timer, shot timer. So these are really good to if you're working reloads, if you're working draw stroke, if you're working split times and you want to find out, like I highly recommend getting a packed shot timer. If you've watched my other videos, you can tell I didn't have a clipboard, so I was tired of not having a clipboard, so I went out and I got some clipboards. Again, these are from the dollar store. They're pretty cheap. If I break them, I'm not out a lot of money. Things get broken a lot when you go to the range, so like if you've got money to spend it. If you don't, then buy stuff that you aren't super worried about breaking. I have some Bushnell binoculars that I have in here. I use these if we're zeroing weapons. I also have a cheaper spotting scope. I think I got this for Christmas at Walmart. Again, I don't take a lot of stuff, like very super expensive stuff, out to the range when I shoot with a lot of the people I shoot with, because people aren't always nice with everything. So again, get some stuff that you're not worried about breaking. I have 2 different sets of range bags for zeroing. So these are just like some cheapy ones that I got at Cabela's or Bass Pro, one of the two. And they've got some sand and or whatever, some beads in them. Again, I use these for zeroing. And I have some camera equipment. So one of the other tripods that I have, I'm actually currently using to film this video. I keep another tripod in here so that I can film and then while I'm on the range and have multiple different angles for y'all. And the last thing that I have in here is this big box. So bear with me while I put some of this stuff away. All right, so this is the largest box that I have that fits in the deck system. This one's kind of cool because it's partitioned. So on the farthest right side, I keep 3 sets of iPro. These are just Range Max. I really like these. I get them at Bass Pro Shops. I try and find them when they're on sale because sometimes they're expensive, but they're really nicely priced when they're on sale. The reason I like these so much is they have 5 different types of lenses that you can switch in and out of. So they have a variety of uses. So if it's really bright, if it's not really bright, you have that versatility to switch through. I also keep with them is Electronic Gear Pro. So I'm a huge fan of Electronic Gear Pro because I can't tell you how many times I've been out to the range with people who don't use Electronic Gear Pro, and they're constantly like, what'd you say? Especially when I'm training new shooters, for them not only to be able to hear what I'm saying, but for them to have situational awareness of what's going on. I advocate for over-the-ear or in-ear Electronic Ear Pro. Other thing I have is, again, I have some additional loose iPro. Since we shoot in a lot of forests, we shoot in DNR land, we shoot in BLM land. Sometimes there's mosquitoes and bugs and gnats and all sorts of stuff, so I keep some DEET Repel, the Sportsman's Max, whatever this stuff is. Keep that in there as well. Then I have some sunscreen because my wife gets mad at me when I come back from the range burnt. So if you're married, if you're not married, protect your skin, get some sunscreen. It's worth it. Okay, some additional spare magazines and some boo-boo kits and personal first aid. So A lot of people think like, oh, hey, I have an IFAK on my kit, or hey, I carry a giant IFAK in my truck. That's great. But like, what happens if you cut your finger or you get a paper cut, right? Like, you don't want to go ahead and pull your whole IFAK out from behind your belt or off your kit when just set up a boo-boo kit. Like, I just have some small stuff in here, like some Band-Aids and some stuff like that for small stuff. All right, and then I keep 3 additional tourniquets in here and some trauma shears. Right, so if stuff gets real wild, we'll utilize these. Most of the time, though, like, we don't have to do that. The last thing that I have in here is a pair of gloves. When we're out there and we're shooting anywhere from 250 to 1,000 rounds, depending on what we're shooting in a day, like, your hands are going to get hot. So having a decent pair of gloves to cover up your shooting hand at a minimum on your rifle, or your hand that's closer to a barrel on anything like that, like having a decent pair of shooting gloves is key. I also carry some rifle magazines, right? Because if you don't have magazines to put bullets in, your weapon doesn't do you a whole lot of good. That basically wraps it up for today's video. Like, comment, subscribe, give me some feedback. If you guys want to see anything else in the video in a more greater detail, or a more detailed video, put it in the comment section and I can make another video on it. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. That concludes the part 2 of the mini series of what I carry in my deck system to go to the range. And I appreciate you guys watching. If you think of anything that I should add to or take away from this deck system of what I bring to the range, put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.